Welcome to the news from the Permaculture Podcast. The news is an ongoing series of updates on permaculture and permaculture adjacent topics that don't fit the format of other episodes from the Permaculture Podcast. This includes commentary on how we can use this news to grow our practices, improve our work, or get involved on a larger scale. When appropriate, I also include updates from the Permaculture Podcast. Normally, those are at the end of the news, but we'll be getting started with those first. I have a number of meandering sessions available for September and October, so whether you're trying to figure out your next steps after a permaculture design course, looking for someone to review a design with you, or want to talk about making a career change from what you're currently doing to something more regenerative, I'm here to help. Find out more about these one-on-one opportunities by visiting thepermaculturepodcast.com/meandering. If you're ready to schedule today, send me an email, show@thepermaculturepodcast.com, so that we can find the perfect time together to talk. Patrons, a reminder that you receive a 25% discount on all meanderings, mentoring, and consultations. The fundraiser to create a new backup solution using server-grade backup drives continues. To complete stage 1 of this process, I need to raise an additional $450. You can make a one-time donation to this project at paypal.me/permaculturepodcast or by using Venmo at Permaculture Podcast. If you prefer, you can also drop something in the mail. The Permaculture Podcast, P.O. Box 2509, Falls Church, Virginia, 22042. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone who donated to this fundraiser so far. I ordered and set up the hard drive dock that the drives will connect to this past week. I also pulled together all the documents, pictures, audio, and other files from the history of the show into one place. Once those drives are purchased, it can all be backed up immediately, with one going off to a safe deposit box at my bank. From there, we move to news from the world. On Wednesday, August 30th, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recommended easing restrictions on marijuana following a review request made last year by the Biden administration. This scheduling recommendation for marijuana was made to the Drug Enforcement Agency so that Health and Human Services can conduct a scientific and medical evaluation for consideration by the DEA. Though the DEA has the final authority to schedule or reschedule a drug under the Controlled Substances Act, this request can formally start the review necessary to make that change. The aim of this request is to move marijuana from a Schedule I classification, which under federal law means that marijuana has a high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use, to a Schedule III drug with a moderate to low potential for dependence, a lower abuse potential, and medical applications. This move to a Schedule III classification would bring marijuana in line with existing drugs like ketamine and testosterone. This change in classification at the federal level would also reduce current issues with the existing cannabis trade in the United States, such as traveling across state lines with marijuana and THC-containing products, and, perhaps more importantly, it would open up the number of banking, credit, and lending options available to existing and future cannabis businesses. Though this is still in the early stages, it is a promising step towards creating greater viability in the cannabis industry, a space that could be a growth industry for permaculture practitioners. As growers, we can explore the use of cannabis in gardens, food forests, and sustainable systems, or to sell directly to market. As producers, there are so many secondary and tertiary products that come from THC and CBD containing plant materials, which we could continue to explore and innovate upon. As designers, we can create more ecologically minded indoor growing spaces or aquaponics systems to feed the marijuana plants and produce food for our community. Whatever this future holds, I hope that it's green. A recently released New York Times data investigation reveals just how quickly the U.S. is draining and damaging our groundwater sources. Pulling water level reports from tens of thousands of sites, half have declined significantly since 1980 as pumping rates exceed replenishment rates. In the last decade alone, 40% of the monitored sites report hitting all-time lows, with 2022 being the worst year to date. As a whole, these water sources account for 90% of the fresh water used by Americans. It's an alarming trend, and I encourage you to follow the link in the show notes to read more. But as permaculture practitioners, we have the tools to greatly impact the amount of water that needs to be drawn from these sources for everyday use by reducing the water we use and finding ways to recycle water that is already in use. I don't see this, however, as just an individual task that we need to engage in on our own by setting up water catchment systems at home or deeply mulching our gardens alone. This is where permaculture meets industry by applying these ideas to your current profession. By working with the people you work with or for, you can find ways to reduce water usage on commercial and community scales. Think things like water catchment from the roof of a football stadium that can then be filtered and used to water the pitch. Or rather than drawing fresh water and discharging it into a river for material production, designing new processes to clean, recycle, and store water on site. We have the tools to transform the world. Let's use them at every step of our life, job, and career. And today, we'll close with an opportunity for permaculture practitioners. Permaculture Institute of North America, PINA, has opened the 4th Permaculture Design Contest for submissions. This year's contest offers a cash prize of $5,000 for the top design grand prize, $1,000 for a best design by a novice designer, and other prizes for honorable mentions. This contest is for PINA members, but if you're not a member, that's okay, as you can join now for as little as $20 per year to submit your design to the contest and reap the benefits of membership, including supporting this great organization. As a thank you to all entrants, PINA is including a free premium membership to the Natural Capital Plant Database. A $50 value, this will fully offset the cost of an annual PINA membership. Check out the complete details today via the link in the show notes, and then grab your favorite design tools and get your submission in before the deadline of October 1st, 2023. If you have anything you'd like to hear included in an upcoming episode of the news, get in touch. Call 717-827-6266 or email show@thepermaculturepodcast.com. Until the next time, spend each day reducing the amount of water used by your business or community while taking care of Earth, yourself, and each other.